Hello, everyone. Welcome to the course of International Macroeconomics. International macroeconomics is devoted to the study of large-scale economic problems in interdependent economics. It is macroeconomics because it focuses on key economy-wide variables such as exchange rates, prices, interest rates, income, wealth, and the current account. It is international because a deep understanding of the global economy, only when the interconnections among nations are fully considered. International macroeconomics has three unique features. First, the world has many monies. How do they affect our global economy? What are the causes and consequences of the changing value of one currency against another? Do the benefits of having a national currency outweigh the cost? Secondly, countries are financially integrated. International financial transactions has risen to record levels. Why do all these transactions occur, and what purpose do they serve? Who lends to whom, and why? Why are some debts paid but not others? Does the free flow of finance have costs as well as benefits? Thirdly, economic policy choices are made. If government policies are always optimal, recessions never happened, currencies never crashed, and debts were never in default, well, that would be a nice world. Due to the global financial crisis of 2008, the reality is that policy making is frequently not optimal. In the worst-run countries, poverty, underinvestment, hyperinflation, crisis, and debt are common events. How do exchange rates and international capital flows affect an economy? How can policymakers avert bad economic outcomes and formulate bad monetary and fiscal policies? What are the trade-offs for each policy decision? Many fundamental questions like this must be answered if we are to understand the economic world around us. To that end, the chapters that follow combine economic theory with comparing empirical evidence to explain the working of today's global macroeconomy. The textbook of this course will use International Macroeconomics, edited by Robert Fisher and Alan Taylor. It has 4 parts. Part 1 is Introduction. Part 2 is Exchange rates. Part 3 is the balance of payments. Part 4 is Applications and policy issues. There are 5 teachers will deliver the course. Professor Huang Xianming will deliver Chapter 1 to 4. Professor Tu Yuanfen will deliver Chapter 5 and 10. Dr. He Cang will deliver Chapter 6 and 7. Dr. Liu Yi will deliver Chapter 8 and 9. Dr. Tang Xiaojun will deliver Chapter 11. Now we will discuss Chapter 1. It is introductory. This chapter has 3 sections. At first, we discuss 1.1, foreign exchange, currencies and crises. International trade, it is assumed that all goods are priced in a common currency. However, countries have different currencies. A complete understanding of how a country's economy works requires that we study the exchange rate. Because products and investments move across borders, fluctuations in exchange rate have significant effects on the relative prices of home and foreign goods, such as autos and clothing, services, such as insurance and tourism, and assets, such as equities and bonds. We start our analysis of the global economy with theory of exchange rates, learn how and why they fluctuate. In studying exchange rates, we should think over three questions. How are exchange rates determined? Why do some exchange rates fluctuate sharply while others remain constant? What explains exchange rate crises, fall or stay flat in the long run? Let's look at Figure 1.1. Part A shows the exchange rate of China with the United States in yuan per US dollar. Part B shows the exchange rate of the United States with Eurozone in US dollars per euro. The China-US exchange rate varies little and would be considered a fixed exchange rate. The US-Eurozone exchange rate varies a lot and would be considered a floating exchange rate. So economists divide the world into two groups of countries, those with fixed or pegged exchange rates and those with floating or flexible exchange rates. Let's consider the questions. How do exchange rates affect the real economy? Changes in exchange rate affect an economy in two ways. First, changes in exchange rate cause a change in international relative prices of goods. That is, one country's goods and services become more or less expensive relative to another's when expressed in a common unit of currency. Secondly, changes in exchange rate can cause a change in the international relative prices of assets. These fluctuations in wealth can then affect firms, governments, and individuals. Why do exchange rate crises occur? Are they an inevitable consequence of fundamental problems in an economy? What steps might be taken to prevent crises? And at what cost? In such a crisis, a currency experiences a sudden and pronounced loss of value against another currency. One of the most dramatic currency crises in recent history occurred in Argentina from December 2001 to January 2002. Figure 1.2 lists 27 exchange rate crises from 1997 to 2015. In almost all cases, exchange rate experienced a large and a sudden change. The year 1997 was especially with 7 crises, 5 of them in East Asia. The Indonesian rupiah lost 49% of its US dollar value, but severe collapse also occurred in Thailand, Korea, Malaysia, and Philippines. Other notable crises during this period included Liberia in 1998, Russia in 1998, and Brazil in 1999. In crises, output falls, banking and debt problems emerge, households and firms suffer, government finances worsen, and embraced authorities may appeal for external help from international organizations such as the International Monetary Fund or World Bank. Then we will discuss 1.2 Globalization of finance, debts and deficits. Today, financial globalization has taken hold around the world, starting in the advanced countries and spreading to many emerging market countries. Deficits and surplus, the balance of payments. At the national level, economic measurements such as income, expenditure, deficit, and surplus are important indicators of economic performance. At the national level, the income measure is called gross national disposable income. The expenditure measure is called gross national expenditure. The difference between the two is a key macroeconomic aggregate called the current account. Table 1.1 shows data for the United States from 1919 to 2015 in billions of US dollars. During this period, in all but 1 year, US expenditure exceeded income, with US current account in deficit. The last surplus was in 1991. In Figure 1.3, the United States current account deficit has announced for over half of all deficits globally. Major offsetting surplus have been seen in Asia, for example, China and Japan, and in all exporting countries. If the United States is a net borrower, running a current account deficit, then the rest of the world must be a net lender to the United States, running surplus with expenditure less than income. Your total wealth or net wealth is equal to your assets minus your liabilities. When you run a surplus and save money, your total wealth or net wealth is equal to your assets minus your liabilities. When you run a surplus and save money, your total wealth or net wealth tends to rise. Similarly, when you have a deficit and borrow, your wealth tends to fall. We can use this analysis to understand the behavior of nations. From an international perspective, a country's net wealth is called its external wealth, and it equals the difference between its foreign assets and its foreign liabilities. Positive external wealth makes a country a creditor nation. Negative external wealth makes it a debtor nation. In Figure 1.4, panel A shows that the United States was generally a creditor nation until the mid-1980s, when it became a debtor nation. By the end of 2012, the United States was the world's largest debtor, with external wealth equal to minus 4,416 billion US dollars. Argentina, another country with persistent current account of deficits in the 1990s, also saw its external wealth decline, as panel B shows.